Hi, you're watching Silk Way TV channel. I'm Daurian Sagulov, and today we will be commentating on the arrival of the President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadir Japarov. It's his official visit to Kazakhstan. And we broadcast live from our studio in Astana, and today I'm joined by Miraz Jimbaev, Head of Foreign Policy and International Studies Program at Maksut Narikbayev University, who will help me with commentating and also take part in discussion over the state of Kazakh-Kyrgyz bilateral relations. Thank you for joining me now, Miraz.
And thank you for inviting.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you here. So now we're waiting for the Sadir Japarov to arrive at the presidential residency, Akurda. And before that, let me start with the introduction to the agenda. What is important to know about the bilateral relations between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan today?
For both of our countries, relations, in the greater Central Asian region is a milestone for foreign policy. So we see the rising importance of C5 formats. For example, during this day, President of Uzbekistan paying visit to Tajikistan. So we see the rising coordination between the different states of Central Asia to coordinate the joint efforts in current geopolitical situation. And of course, we do have a quite comprehensive agenda of our bilateral level. First, it's economy. Of course, it's all of the questions related to the transit. At the same time, we can say that we have very deep cultural relations with among our nations. That's why we saw even the cultural program joined by two presidents yesterday. At the same time, we do have a lot of forums these days. For example, Kazakh-Kyrgyz Forum for Young Academicians, Kazakh-Kyrgyz Business Forum. So we can see the rising of the completely emerging fields of our bilateral cooperation over these days. It's quite impressive to the moment.
Actually, now we can see the picture from the Akurda, from the presidential residency, and the President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadir Japarov, just arrived. So now the official part, the official welcoming ceremony just has begun. So let us keep going discussion. I guess certainly issues related to water resources management between our countries are extremely important at this moment. How is cooperation between Astana and Bishkek in this area is progressing?
I think the one of the most important qualities of the cooperation in the field of water resource management is the ability of two sides to talk and to discuss. Because yes, to the moment we do have another problem with the water issues here in Kazakhstan. But at the same time, it's very understandable that Kyrgyzstan is a country of upstream and Kazakhstan is a country of the downstream, especially for the southern part of Kazakhstan, where all of that transboundary issues and questions related to the water regulations are crucially important for both of the countries. So we're ready to talk.
Yes. Now we can see that the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, is greeting the delegation from the Kyrgyzstan, and the President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadir Japarov, follows him. So, how do you think, what is the significance of the current visit of the President of Kyrgyzstan?
Especially in this time for our country, with all of the situation with the water all around the country, we demonstrate the high level of ability.
It's time, I'm sorry, it's time for the national anthem. So it was national anthems of Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. So before this moment, I just asked you about your opinion about the significance of this official visit of President of Kyrgyzstan, please.
Yeah, actually for us, any official visits and any forms of visits of our Central Asian brothers are very important. For example, you see on that beautiful ceremony, you know, even the smallest parts, like a tie of President Tokayev, who wore a beautiful a red tie,
Yes.
just to make it more symbolic in the colors of the national flag of Kyrgyzstan. So we demonstrate in the highest level of our readiness to talk, of our readiness to strengthen the ties between two of our countries and the whole region of Central Asia.
Let us talk more about Kyrgyzstan. May I ask you, what is the current country's like global goals on political arena under the leadership of Sadyr Japarov?
President Japarov joined the office 3 years ago, back in January 2021.
Yes.
After his, I think, around 80% at presidential elections took place a bit earlier. And we see the rising political, economical, and social reforms in many spheres of Kyrgyzstan domestic policy, in many spheres of economic policy. And of course, in the concept of the foreign policy, we see the level of priority, priorities number one. So the priority number one is Kazakhstan, because exactly for Kyrgyzstan, we are the biggest country in their neighborhoods. At the same time, we do have the biggest amount of bilateral trade between two of our countries. That's why it's extremely important for Kyrgyzstan to talk more about our joint efforts on the corridors, on the ways to work with the economy. President Japarov actually working very actively in the field of domestic policy. As an easy example, they are working on they actually applied 2 constitutional reforms in recent years, showing that the ability of President Japarov to work on institutions first institutional approach to all of the reforms so we're applying in many spheres.
So how would you describe the political dialogue between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan?
In recent years, we see the great level of ability to talk. So both of the sides are ready to discuss all of the issues. Because for many years, I have to say that all of the Central Asian agenda was something like, okay, we already have it. But at the same time, we had several issues in water, in trade, in transport and economic routes that had a lot of collapses. And to the moment, we are ready to solve it. We are ready to discuss every particular single question in our comprehensive agenda of cooperation. This year, we're going to host annual meetings of Central Asian countries' leaders here in Astana. That's why we need to discuss some more particular questions in bilateral and regional level. So this official visit is a way to prepare for the big one.
If you don't mind, let us talk about the foreign policy of Kyrgyzstan more. You just mentioned that Kazakhstan is one of the most significant and important partners of Kyrgyzstan. Who else?
Actually, in the concept of foreign policies, they have several levels of priorities. First, in the regional level, then in the Eurasia and in the world. Of course, they're trying to apply the same policy model as Kazakhstan do. So they have strong effort and commitment to strengthen international law by raising their position and strengthen their position within the international organizations. They are working with Russia, China, US, European Union, and the rest of the world to create the new opportunities for Central Asia. And it's very important. I have to say that it's quite interesting to see that Central Asia is mentioned maybe more in foreign policy concepts than even than Kyrgyzstan itself. That's why President Japarov just demonstrating in his efforts and his actions the ability of Kyrgyzstan to create the new opportunities for Central Asia, for whole the region, and by doing that, they're creating the new opportunities for national development.
And last but not least, in few words, how is the trade and economic cooperation between our countries is developing?
It's rising rapidly. Even for last year, we actually have a very positive trade balance between Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. So we're selling more than buying from Kyrgyzstan. It's very positive aspect. At the same time, we're working on the new joint projects to start some production here in Kazakhstan, here somewhere in Kyrgyzstan, and having joint stock companies to do that.
Okay, maybe some big jointly economical projects, investment projects between our countries?
I believe that we're going to see it during this official visit, because first they need to be signed.
Yes, of course.
And to be announced.
Of course. Miraz, thank you very much for your time and for your answers. Today I was joined by Miraz Jimbayev, Head of Foreign Policy and International Studies Program at Maksut Norikbayev University, who answered our questions regarding the agenda of the official visit of President of Kyrgyzstan to Kazakhstan. We will be following the upcoming events and we'll share it with you, so stay tuned and watch Silkway TV channel. See you later.